I can see the sun. It's just about ready to come through the trees here soon. It should be really beautiful. So hold tight, don't go anywhere. I don't know if you remember all those pineapples I had. I just threw them in this. This has like a solid bottom. It's a little tray and it does nothing but collect water, which would be a negative. But I turned my negative into a positive because look at the beautiful root systems I am getting on all these pineapples. Look at them all. Isn't that fabulous? So I did nothing but just pick them, throw them in there, let the weather do what the weather's going to do in the summer. And now I'm going to have beautiful rooted pineapples, and we'll just put them all over the yard and give them away or something like that. So that's fantastic. I'm really excited about that. Over here we have the coop, the area for the coop. If you're new, we have the wood and everything. We just kind of waiting on Jack's schedule so we can put in the coop. I think my spots, they're kind of there. You can kind of see the orange right there. But so essentially this is where the coop goes. The run's going to be over there. I see my St. Augustine grass is actually trying to trail its way over here. About 3 years ago, let's see, I guess it was the end of 2018, we took a lot of the trees off this lot. You couldn't even see through this lot. It was so thick. It was a jungle forest. That's what the guys always told us from the tree company. They're like, you got a rainforest in here. So we took a skid grinder machine, and we made some walkways, and so we could get our feet on the path, or everywhere out here. And then we started culling certain trees, and the palms were the first to go. Sorry, they're absolutely beautiful, but they do require a lot of maintenance. And there were 40 of them in here, you know. They just kind of had to go, and it was unfortunate, but not if we wanted to make our food forest dreams come true and put the chickens over here, all sorts of things. We just had to remove some trees, and so that was one of the biggest things. And then unfortunately we lost a massive oak tree over there. It was leaned towards the house. It was hollowed out, and then the guy with the skid grinder, he tore up the main root, and we left it for a year, but in the end it was dying. The skin, the bark on it was retracting, and it was just doing really bad. And we had an evaluator come out here, and they were like, get rid of it. So after all that, that's, you know, it is what it is. We put the fire pit right over where it was. So let's go through these trees real quick. This is my winter Mexican avocado tree, and it went through a big prune this spring, and maybe about May-ish or something like that. I let it get through its bloom. It had a very pitiful bloom this year, and so I thought, okay, it just needs a really good prune. We did that. I also bought a book about pruning, and it has really inspired me to keep going this year. I put this sun red nectarine into the ground. I ordered it last fall, but it didn't come till about the first week of March, I believe, of this year. I had to call them and remind them. I'm like, I live in Florida. Everything is starting to bloom in March. And so they're like, oh, it's dormant here. Okay. So they pulled it out of the ground. They shipped it to me. It had a couple broken limbs. Long story short, it's doing fabulous here. It absolutely loves it. This is after a pretty good prune on it. So I think we're probably going to see more blooms and maybe even fruit next year. This next is my sweet almond, and it was a little bush too, and now it's growing into a big bush, and so I just had that pruned real heavily. Mostly what I did was I took off the things that were running across the ground. This is my new Scarlet Beauty plum, and it's only been in the ground maybe 2-3 months. 2 for sure, maybe 3. And it's had a good prune, Cleaned it up. We staked it up just in case we had a spinner swirly thing out there. This is jelly fig, and it's doing good. We got a couple figs, but I expect great things next spring out of it. This box is just kind of creating a little, you know, a border, if you will, to protect my lamb's ear. This is absolutely fantastic. If you've never pet a lamb's ear plant, you should. They're soft as any animal's ear. Oh, they're beautiful. And you know, it's going through its life cycle, but look what it left me, a whole bunch of babies over here. That's why I wanted to contain it so I didn't accidentally get hit by a lawnmower or weed whacker. So it's definitely spreading, and I'm very happy about that. These are dwarf ever-bearing mulberries, and the tree on the right is much happier. Of course, it gets that morning sunlight. It's just peeking over the trees and the roof now. And the left one gets less. So I pruned it about 6 weeks ago, and they were doing great. They were getting kind of tall going up into the sky there, but I went ahead and pruned it, and then I got to thinking, let's go ahead and heavy prune it again. I put mushroom compost down below. We threw a lot of nutrition in there, and it's already popping back out very quickly. Look at that fruit. The fruit is setting. Every time you prune this thing, it's going to start setting fruit. Well, can you see that? That is fantastic. And I've tried to prune almost every branch. And look, just a matter of like 2 weeks, it's fruiting. It's putting on little fruit everywhere. I'm so very happy, and new leaves on every new branch too. So I'm really expecting a good maybe October harvest out of these 2 trees. You guys are now entering the food forest. That's technically, the rest are just gardens and fruit tree areas and such. This is the food forest. And I really love to take a walk through on the path every morning. It's fantastic, and there's so much to see, and there's always something new, like every morning, just about. It's just incredible what all I see in here. And it's for the most part natural. It almost never sees a lawnmower or weed whacker, unless once in a while this little path gets out of control. My pineapple's there, if you haven't seen that. That was in a recent video. But I just noticed this is red roselle, and it makes fabulous teas and everything. And look at this. It is beginning to start forming the calyxes. And as these get bigger and bigger and bigger, they'll get red, and then you make tea out of the calyxes. And you can leave some on here to dry, and they will become seeds. Ooh, here's one in the next stage. You see that? You see how it's... Maybe return direction, you can see. Oh no, that makes it harder to see, huh? There, now you can see the red. Isn't that fabulous? And it just get deeper and deeper red until it's a deep cranberry. And I just love that. That's my favorite tea. And well, I don't know, I like mullein tea too, but it's outstanding. And I'm really disappointed. I lost a bunch of trees in the front gardens, but I still have these, this one and the one over here. Those 2 are still going to produce for me this fall, and we'll just get what we get and be thankful for it. Over behind me is the Mexican sunflower bush, sometimes a tree, and I just cut it down about 4 weeks ago, and it's already right back up to about 6 feet, and it's nice. It's great. I'm actually thinking of chopping it down again real quick and using that for compost tea. You put it in a bucket, fill it with water. It'll just be completely nutritious for your babies and all your garden. Over behind me, let's keep going. This is climbing oleander, and it's a beautiful plant in the month of like May, April, sometimes March. It puts out a beautiful fragrant bloom, but the rest of the year it just turns into this wild vine, kind of like the Mexican sunflower there. And they both just block a lot of the light that my Grimachami cherry over here needs. So something has to go, and I think that the climbing oleander is it. And I will probably just put it, trim it, and then pull it out of the ground. And if any one of you wants this climbing oleander, which I'll just remind you, it's toxic to certain animals, although my animals have not touched it. So if any one of you wants this plant, let me know and I'm happy to give it to you. Right behind me is the Caribbean red papaya, and I have not been blessed enough to eat any of those papaya because the wasp, there's like a papaya wasp, and it comes right in there and it bores in there and ruins all the flesh for me. But the tree itself is doing fantastic, all 2 or 3 parts of it. Right here in front of me is the summit grape. This is doing really good. It's climbed all the way across the trellis this morning. Well, this year. Man, I love that sun. And it's doing good. I'm hoping to see good things this spring out of it. Over here is my Maypop passion fruit, passion vine, passion flowers. And let me see if I can find, maybe, is there anything in bloom on it? Oh, I don't see any blooms this morning. Oh, okay. I'm not seeing anything. But the fruit is pretty good if you like passion fruit. A lot of them have already dropped, but I'm eating them and they're pretty good. Ooh, before we forget, here's the Pickering mango that I bought this spring, and it was just a little stick for $40. Somehow feel like maybe I didn't get the best deal on that, or perhaps I did, but it's doing excellent. It has a pretty good grafting, and then it comes up a few inches, and it's already started to divide into 2 sections. Now, if you don't know, the Pickering is a dwarf mango, and it even just started a 3rd section of leaves. Actually, this might be a 4th. Yeah, so I'm hoping to actually have some panicles on this coming spring, and I haven't decided. Maybe I'll leave like a fruit or 2 just so I can try it. But the guy who gave me this in his little backyard nursery, his was probably only another foot higher, and he had panicles and he was growing fruit off of it. So we may do that. In here is my blueberry bed, which needs severe cleaning up. That was supposed to be yesterday, and I spent so much time in the rest of the yard, and I mowed grass and edge, that I did not get to this bed, but I will this week and weekend. This is a cranberry hibiscus. I have 5 of them on my lot. This is a little one. I don't know why it's I've had cranberry hibiscus here before that did well. This one just seems like really slow in taking off. Perhaps all the nutrition's been kind of taken up around it, and so I need to you know, re-amend the soil. So anyhow, I did have some chickadee high bush, but I also have emerald and sunshine blueberries in here. And over here, I have more emeralds. I got 3 more emeralds. And then we just defined this walkway, you know, a couple weeks ago. Right here is the jumbo muscadine, and this is probably the least happy of all my muscadines. I don't know why. It has the most sun, but it's just not growing much, and now it's competing with It was here first, but now it's competing with the passion vine. And so I'm gonna have to decide what I'm gonna do about that. Right behind it is beautyberry, and I have a lot of beautyberry thanks to the birds in my neighborhood. Can you see that they make a beautiful berry, and you can make a jam out of it? Be sure to cook the berries first. Do not eat them raw. You'll get a nice tummy ache. And then supposedly you can make bug spray, I think with the leaves. So I know Miss Nancy from Hollis and Nancy's Homestead, she had a great video on that, and I highly recommend you go there for advice on beautyberry. Over here is my kiwi, and it was Isa, I-S-S-A-I kiwi. I don't know, it grew all the way up the trellis here and then died, but it didn't die completely. I think summer's just not its season. So we'll see what we get out of this through the fall. We'll just keep an eye on it and see what we can do and what we get from it. I'm just learning its growth habits. I have pineapple all over here and there. Longevity spinach is in here. Bunny loves that. She's been very happy. I just gave the elderberry tree right here a good prune. It had some suckers around the base, and they were just coming straight out across the ground. So I pruned up the suckers so we could put our energy into growing upward. Over here on this wall, I have my blackberries. Let me show you. And these are not black yet, but they're coming along. And it's slow. It's still a young plant. There's a nice vine. I got a trellis up, but it's still young. It's just coming along, but I've actually been able to eat some fruit off of it fairly consistently all summer. Over here is a new one to me. I believe you call it, well, it was Chester. I ripped out the Chester. This is Wachita, actually. O-U-I-C-H-I-T-A. I think that's how you say Wachita. And again, this one seems way happier than that Chester ever did. Oh man, have you grown into the fence? I can't even yank you out. Oh, we got to do some surgery. More beautyberry. More beautyberry. This right here is a green Thompson grape, and it is fantastic. It has looked great last year and this year. I am really hoping my friend who has the same age tree and the same exact one, she got it at Walmart too with me, you know, well, the week after, hers produced grapes last year. So I'm thinking my food forest shade kind of deterred it from actually making fruit, but I expect fruit this coming year. Here is my bell starfruit, and that's, oh, I just love this. And look, oh, they're ready. They're ready. See my fruit right there. I had 3. A squirrel tried to, oh, this one's not quite as ready. I had a third one up in here, and a squirrel took the bag and everything right off of it. But it was ripe, so I ate it. The squirrel did not get it, but I was able to get it. I'm surprised nothing's coming and attacking that one. Here's my oregano. It just barely survived the summer, but it did, and so it'll come back real good again. This is probably 3 years old. Back when I started, that bin was completely full with dirt, and now it's compacted down. I probably should address that this winter before, you know, next year's heat. Right here on this trellis, I have 5 cattle panels in this food forest, and this one has a red Thompson grape, and I have noticed it has traveled. Actually, I think the green and the red are all mixed together in here now. It should be really interesting to see this with fruit on it. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, because you're really going to want to see what goes on as we go into spring. I'm really loving that. And This right here, I don't know what type of raspberry it is, but let me tell you, see this vine? It's going all the way up. This was not even slowed down at all, one iota. It goes all the way here, wraps all the way back, and then I wrapped it back again. It grew through all the Florida heat. So I don't know, I just bought it. It was at my local Ace hardware store in Titusville. And whoa, that sucker likes heat. Very happy about that. Right behind there is my winter Mexican guava. And I learned a really, really tough lesson this year. So, as soon as you start seeing that fruit come on in the spring, you need to bag it then. Don't bag it when you start seeing it going ripe, which is what I did. I actually did it just a little bit before it went ripe because I figured it was the season. I saw other people eating guava. Look. You see the blue jay? Oh. I love little interruptions like that. They are keeping an eye on my food forest too. Not to protect it, but to eat from it. They're probably looking at that beauty berry, which is fine with me. So anyhow, back to the guava. Yeah, so I didn't bag it until it was too late, and I had a lot of larvae inside my guava. I also fought a couple squirrels for some guava. I won some, they won some. I did get, like 2 in the house. That was it. But I've learned my lesson. I know how it grows, its growth rate, and how it matures and all that. And I just did a heavy prune on it, so I'm very happy about that. And it's a strong plant, as you can see. It's very healthy. Right here is Lady Margaret, passion fruit, passion vine, passion flowers. It has a gorgeous, gorgeous red flower on it. Let's find one. Well, it's not opened up yet because it's getting brighter, but it's not bright enough out here yet. These will all open up this morning. So they said the fruit couldn't be had. Well, I get fruit pretty well on this. But let's see. See, you can see the fruit up there. I need to put my coffee down. There's a couple more. The problem is not setting fruit. My problem is that the fruit is disgusting. And sometimes it's a little hollow. It's just not right. So if you get a Lady Margaret passion fruit, do not, it's not worth it. I mean, the vine is beautiful for hummingbirds and bees and whatnot, you know, everything, butterflies. The Gulf Fritillary love to host on this plant. So it's worth it for that, and it's gonna stay here. But it's not really good for food production. So another quick story, let me tell you. Put down my mug there. So I was weed whacking just a little bit on the outer edge of that where the wood piece is. And then I just cut through right here, and I was just seeing what all I need to do. I just had the weed whacker in my hand, but I wasn't weed whacking anymore. And I got hit so hard in my back, and I knew immediately it was a wasp sting. And so I had to bravely come back here and look and look and look. And it's really hard to tell with all these dead leaves. Where's the nest? Oh man, I just about put that in my coffee. So right here is where the nest is and was. And I hated to do it, but we walk in and out of this trellis every day, and they were getting very aggressive. Even when I just walked through to see where the nest was, they were very, very aggressive at me. So bye-bye. We had to get rid of the wasps. It's just not going to work out to have them here. They love to hide out between the posts and all that, and on the fence. That's fine with me. Last year I had a really nice nest in the grapefruit tree. That was tolerable, but you know, I really just don't want them attacking us, and especially I got a grandbaby and I do, you know, take friends out here. I would really hate for them to get stung and hit in the back like I got yesterday. So